Jews. On the other hand, some people who escaped the Holocaust and wanted to build up a new social identity, I emphasize social identity, they entered into the Communist Party, participated in different organs, administration, in party, in police, local administration of the communist regime, and they put the menorah in the furthest corner of their apartment.
I had friends in Israel who came back from the labor battalions and found in Hungary and found their families gone. So they formed revenge squads and went out and killed collaborators for about a year. And I've never read much about that, but they said they formed these revenge squads to kill collaborators.
There were trials in Hungary, but people were tried not for killing Jews, but committing war sins. There was one single hanging occurred in Pest right after the liberation of the ghetto. I can name the person. He was a gendarme. He was torturing people at the gate of the ghetto in Pest. And he was hanged on the octagon immediately in late January 45 or so. One single atrocity occurred in Pest, nothing else. So, you know, Jews are not a killer people. It is not the Jewish tradition to kill someone. If you read the Bible, you maybe get horrified how many death punishments are described in the Bible. As a matter of fact, it is my biblical interpretation, but more or less there is a scholarly consensus on that. It means a social killing and not a physical killing. And in the whole medieval Europe, it means 7 centuries. We have just 2 or 3 cases altogether in all countries where Jews killed someone. And all 3 of them were traitors. So it is not a killing people, no atrocities. Could I pursue you?
That there are a certain amount of Jewish communities in Hungary. How many people do you consider to be a community? Because I read about synagogues being renovated, but maybe 8 or 12 people living around it.
It depends on when you go to the synagogue. On weekday mornings, they have permanent paid member of the minyan. You know, the Jewish tradition allows, it goes after Abraham's bargaining with God. You remember, the God went down to 10 people. And that is the reason why we have to have 10 adult, over 13 men in the minyan. And the rule is that 10 people make the minyan. But if there are not 10, you can hire one. If there are not even 9, you can invite the 9th one. So sometimes it can go down to 7. And in case of 7, one can be a Gentile too. That is really an old tradition. I can tell you that there are in Hungary 3-4 places where permanent weekday minyans are held. On the high holidays, all synagogues in Pest are crowded. But again, the Jewish custom is to attend the service, but talk in front of the main room in the vestibule, or how do you call it, and to go in the main room only for specific prayers. The Dohány synagogue takes up over 3,000 people, with 2 balconies and for women, but on the Simchat Torah, even women are allowed to go down and touch the Torah scroll with a shawl, with a shawl. The Kazinci synagogue that is fully renovated, like the Dohány one, those are the 2 main synagogues for conservative and Orthodox directions, is on the high holidays crowded the same way. Last fall, Kol Nidre, I live 30 kilometers apart from Pest. I needed 1 full hour to find a parking place close to the Kazinci synagogue. I took enough time in advance because I am aware of the situation. The irony is, of course, that everybody drove up to the synagogue, what is a sin, to say the least. But so many people came that even the Orthodox synagogue was crowded. Even the Orthodox one crowded. On winter days, every synagogue has a smaller prayer room, like half of this room. And on Saturday morning, they have no trouble to have the minyan. That is the situation. But perhaps from your own life that Jewish identity hangs on the service, but is not the service alone. And in the Reform or conservative Judaism, I would say this part is the every day or every week attendance of the service, and about this is the cultural, social, intellectual tradition, memory, and so on. Even in history, there was no single-shaped Jewish identity.
Your capacity as professor and Hungarian leader, what do you see as Hungarians expressingly now? What are your personal concerns for
Hungary in general?
Right. What do you see as the most immediate need now in the modern era, now in 2000?
don't understand the question asked. So what is most important in Hungary, or what is
Right,
most important for Hungarian Jews?
Right, in your capacity, right, as professor and leader, what do you see as some of the most pressing needs now for?
What are the most pressing
Right.
needs?
That you see.
We are
you think.
just before a new election, and the crucial thing is which side will win. It is going to be an important decision because after the changes, already every main party or group of parties had the government once. And we see exactly what to expect from one and the other. And we have a how do you call the period between the presidential election and his coming in power? The dead duck? Lame duck, yes, lame duck. Excuse me. The lame duck. So now we are a lame duck in this sense. And many things will depend. Let's say we introduce a university reform. The government now made it. The opposition want to revoke completely, return to the old system. On the other hand, the leftist governments don't like to speak of Jews very widely, loudly. They like to keep this in silence. The rightist movements make use of the so-called Jewish question, but misuse it. So the options are very important, what to choose.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I could go on. I thank you for attention.